heard about Resilient Young Minds through my cousin, who was a mentee in the program, named Shakaya Lewis. She texted me about it one day, and she thought I would be a great fit for it. And originally, I wasn't so sure, because when she started explaining the program, I told her I wasn't, at that moment in life, I wasn't that much open to expressing myself the way I am now. So I'm not sure if I'll be such a good fit, but I ended up blossoming from it.
I first learned of Resilient Young Minds through a great friend of mine, Simone Muschet. We've been friends since high school. I really wanted to get back to the community and expand on my mentoring, especially to show cybersecurity or IT in general to kids, and I thought that this would be the best option to do so.
Favorite moment from RYM, and it's really the moment that really etched it into my mind that yes, this was a good move for me, was our retreat. We took it in September of 2019, and it came right at a time where I kind of needed to be away from my normal life. And it forced me to talk to everybody. And talking to everybody, I got to hear everybody's stories and really get to know them more than, say, if we did have phone privileges.
My experience with Alonzo, as far as a mentee, was one of the best that I've ever had. There were times where, we would be on the phone for a good hour, just catching up on life and things that affected him or things that affected me. Another thing that I really enjoyed that Alonzo did was I provided podcasts for him to listen to and share it to his friends. Most high school students or even adults wouldn't do that. They'll say they'll get to it and talk about it later, but the fact that he did that and shared it really meant a lot.
I think Mark was an incredible mentor. He was patient with me. He took time with me. Even at times where I was a little lackadaisical and maybe a little lazy here and there, he still never gave up. And he became less of a mentor and sort of more as a friend that I knew I could talk to about anything if anything was to happen.
I think RYM definitely impacted Alonzo's life. I believe he also needed another support system and another thing to do. I think with this program, it actually pushed him to, be more professional, even at his age. And I also think it pushed him to be more outgoing, even though he was already outgoing. But knowing that some of these programs and some of these accomplishments that he was trying to do, I believe just having RYM as another support system to push him really got him over the top. And even his parents also said it too. His mom said that she saw a lot of changes in Lonzo.
I believe that if you're looking for an opportunity to embrace a side of yourself that you never thought you'd be able to experience, Resilient Young Minds is definitely the place for you. If you want to become somebody who's more vulnerable and can express themselves completely without having to hold anything back and be able to really delve deep into what makes you you and figure out what you are trying to be and how to get there, then definitely join Resilient Young Minds.
People should join Resilient Young Minds because it starts with a village. Simone definitely likes to reiterate to everyone, and I totally agree with her. And knowing that having this program to accomplish, whether it be 1 or 5 students, that's 1 or 5 students that we can move forward to, moving on and getting over their fears of whatever they experienced. And it's okay to seek help and, get that extra support system to move on and ultimately push to do whatever you want to do.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Saturday. It is a beautiful Saturday here in New York City. I hope it's a beautiful Saturday wherever you are. And we are pleased to welcome you to another Resilient Young Minds live event. We have done quite a few so far. We started off with our virtual suicide awareness walk. We did an event on women's health. We did men's health. We did one on money in the Black community. And now we are doing one about us, what everyone should know about Resilient Young Minds. So I am Janelle Holford. I am the RYM secretary. And I'm feeling good today. I'm excited about our live, which is all about us. I'm wearing my brand new RYM shirt. I'm so resilient. I hope you all can see that. So there's some RYM swag. And if you're interested in purchasing some, we will be giving you some information on that throughout the live event today. So to start us off, we have our president and founder of Resilient Young Minds, Ms. Simone Mouchette, who is going to begin our first segment. So get ready, get your pens and pencils ready and paper to jot down any information that you may want to keep and follow up on, because we are about to share information about who we are and what we do. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Simone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to What You All Should Know About Resilient Young Minds. I am Simone Mouchette, as Janelle mentioned, and I'm the founder and president of Resilient Young Minds. So I'm kind of pretty much of an expert to give you the knowledge that you need about RYM. I'm going to be talking about who we are, what we do, and how you can get involved. So, Nina, if you can present my slides for me, we'll get started. So, Resilient Young Minds, our tagline is cultivating resilient young minds every day, because we want to do. Our mission statement is that we fight trauma with resilience. So our goal is to teach young people how to be resilient, which is to adapt to changes or conflict, but in a positive way. The problem that we are essentially trying to solve or to target is trauma. So the impact of child traumatic stress can last well beyond childhood. In fact, research has shown that child trauma survivors may experience learning problems, including lower grades, and more suspensions and expulsions, increased use of health and mental health services, increased involvement with the child welfare and juvenile justice system, long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease, and trauma is a risk factor for nearly all behavioral health and drug-related issues in young people. So I just want to ask you, you guys can answer in the chat, how many of you have ever experienced the loss of a loved one? And if you have, write yes in the chat. Have been in an accident that made you feel a little fearful or anxiety, like you maybe got into a car accident and you're a little skeptical or afraid to be in a car, drive in a car, or maybe you had a really bad bike accident and you don't really like riding a bike. Or how many of you have failed at something? How many of you been abused or tried to abuse yourself? Struggling with a disability, whether it's a physical disability, whether it's a learning disability. I'm saying all these things because all of those situations can be traumatic. Abandonment. A lot of times we've all have experienced trauma or experienced something traumatic and we don't really deal with it. And we kind of let it fester inside. And that causes all these other additional issues. It comes out in other ways because we're not communicating and talking about it. So one of the solutions is us, RYM. This is what we do. We work with adolescents ages 13 to 17 who have experienced trauma. And so research have shown that if you provide a child who's been exposed or experienced trauma a supportive, caring system, a caring adult, and resources that are trauma informed, then they have higher chances of leading a more successful life. And we do that. So every youth participant in RYM is match with a caring adult, which is a mentor who already has overcome their own traumas and is able to provide support and advice to their assigned mentees. 100% of youth participants have reported increased self-confidence and self-advocacy. So every young person that has participated in RYM has shown increased confidence in themselves and willing to speak up for themselves. 100% of youth participants reported being able to speak to or call their mentor to discuss issues that they were not comfortable with speaking to their parents about. Okay, so topics as difficult as sex, maybe drugs, maybe a poor decision that was made, maybe what happened at a party. We've heard it all. All our mentees have felt comfortable sharing, and we've been able to intervene in certain situations because they had that comfortability to report what they were going through to a caring adult. 85% of youth participants report that our personal resilience workshop, which is our retreat, it was the most impactful workshop for them while they were a part of the program, which is the one that we pour the most time and funds into because we take young people out of their normal city environment into the woods and kind of start to release, relax, and let go of their traumas. And 90% of senior participants who complete an entire year of RYM go to college, and 100% receive a career development scholarship at the end of the program. So this is just some highlights that how RYM helps. So this is our team. Carrie Lewis is our vice president. She's also a supervisor at National Grid. Janelle Holford, who you guys saw earlier, is our secretary. She's an educator at a high school in Brooklyn. And Nina Westmoreland is our marketing manager, and she is our paralegal. She's a paralegal at the Legal Aid Society. So I just want to highlight our team so that you can see that you have a team of well-rounded professionals on a regular day-to-day 9 to 5. We all work with young people in some capacity. We all have professional experience, and we're all equipped to serve our young people in our community. All right. Some of our programs, so the programs that we offer, we have some for our niche is children and youth, of course, but we also are starting to have programming for adults as well, as we noticed that there was a need. So our primary program is Yes Academy, and that's our 1-year mentoring program, as I mentioned earlier. We accept young people ages 13 to 17, and they have to have experience with trauma. And they're paired with a mentor during that time, and they're provided several different workshops throughout the year, as well as enrichment activities. Our second biggest program is our annual Suicide Awareness Walk, as Janelle was talking about earlier. It's every September. It's the Saturday of World Suicide Awareness Day. And we walk in the park, supposed to be at Seaview Park, and we walk 3 miles in solidarity of those who've lost to suicide, those who've struggled with suicide, and we kind of have a small workshop at the end where we kind of talk about and share our experiences, and that's been a very rewarding project that we do for our community. School workshops, we are available to contract with schools to provide workshops. So the same resilience workshops that we provide in our mentoring program, schools have access to that if they reach out to us and would like to contact us for several weeks or for a day to either provide workshops for their mentees, or if they want us to provide professional development on how trauma-informed programming or trauma-informed practices on how to interact with students who are at risk or who have experienced trauma. And our really new initiative is our adult retreat, and we want to provide the similar services to our young people. For adults, of course, this service is for free. because it's to adults and that's not our primary target audience. But we do recognize, especially after COVID-19, that there are many adults that could benefit from the resources, the support that we provide our young people. And so this May, we are actually going to be launching our first adult retreat. We do have some seats available. So if you are interested, please reach out to us. You can email us, you can inbox us, you could write in the comment below. And Karen will get back to you and give you information about that. So how to get involved. So if you're liking what you're hearing, you're feeling like it's great and you want to get involved, this is how you can. If you are a young person, you can be a mentee. All you need to do is be within the age range, have experienced something traumatic, complete the online application. That is really, really big. That's how we know that you want to be a part of the program. You have to complete the online application, which is available on our website, www.ourrym.com. Or you can go to our Linktree link that I believe Karen is going to be dropping in the chat right about now. You can become a mentor. We are looking for mentors right now. Mentor applications are very well open. The deadline is approaching. It's April 1st, and you want to make sure you complete that online application. To be a mentor, you need a minimum of an associate's degree. Submit your resume, 2 reference letters. You will need fingerprint clearance, and typically you have to get mental health first aid training, but since that's not available right now, we will be providing you a temporary training until that opens back up. And then the second, the last way you can get involved is that you can volunteer. You can volunteer to help out with an event. You can volunteer to be a speaker to our young people. You can volunteer to participate in a live. You can volunteer in many different ways. There are no requirements to volunteer as long as you just reach out to us and tell us what you want to do, and we'll figure out a way that you can support. If you would like to join the board, please inquire within. If you join the board, you'll be part of the governing body that supports in building and furthering the mission of RYM. So if you want to get really, really deep and be committed to supporting RYM grow, then that may be for you, and you can inquire within. You can email us, inbox us, and let us know that you're interested. And any experienced professional is welcome to be considered to join the board. All right, so I know a lot of people, before we get into Q&A, are going to wonder, how are we being careful? How are we taking in COVID-19 precautions? So our monthly workshops, we usually meet once a month for a workshop. That will be virtual, and we will do that via Zoom. However, our mentoring will be a mix of face-to-face and virtual based on the needs of the mentoring peer. Before that, it was mandatory that they had to be face-to-face, but due to COVID restrictions, maybe quarantines may come into place, a lot of factors may come into place, so that would be a blended model. Masks will be required when we are in person, and temperature checks will be taken during group activities. So enrichment activities will still be in person once a month, the months that we don't have workshops. And there will be outdoor activities, but masks will still be required, and temperature checks will be taken during that time as well. And for our retreat, we will continue to do our retreat. It will be in person. There will be a place that is big enough to accommodate the number of mentees and mentors that we bring in. Masks will be required as well, and negative COVID results will need to be submitted within 3 days of the retreat to ensure that everyone is cleared to attend. All right, some upcoming dates to remember if you want to follow us and keep track, and you don't want you want to know what we're doing next in advance. We have a short timeline. In April 1st, the mentor application is due. So if you want to be a mentor, you want to get that into us as soon as possible. Our adult retreat is going to take place May 21st to May 23rd. So if you're interested, the deadline for that is April 1st as well. If you would like to attend the adult retreat, so you want to make sure you reach out to us as soon as possible. The mentee applications are due May 1st. So if you are a young person and you would like to be in the program, receive a mentor, go through the resources, then you want to make sure you submit your application. The suicide awareness walk is going to be in September, as usual. And our 2021 cohort that we're now currently recruiting will be starting in August. All right, do we have any questions at this time? Once again, we are going to be raffling off RYM swag. So those of you participating in the chat, asking questions, engaging with us, you're going to be entered into the raffle. So you want to make sure that you're engaging, you're writing with us so that you can, get your free RYM swag. So I'll take any questions at this time.
All right, so as Simone said, if you can put your that was a lot of information. So we know that you guys have questions or wonderings or queries. Please put them in the chat so that we can field them on the screen, and we can have a little Q&A session right now about who we are and what we do and what we offer.
Wow, I guess I did a really, really good job.
I was about to say that, Simone. We do have one question, and it's obviously from my mother, who is supporting us as always, all the way from Barbados. So shout out to my mom. Her question is, how would you rate your success? I guess as an organization.
What do you mean by rate? Like, what is our success rate? I'm assuming that she means. Well, earlier in the earlier slides, I had mentioned some of the things that we accomplished. So 100% of all the young people that come through Resilient Young Minds have increased self-confidence and increased self-advocacy skills. So what that means is when they first came in, they may have been shy, they may have been quiet, they may have been open and boisterous, but not open about their emotions or expressing their feelings. And all the kids so far that have come through the program have been able to grow in that area and expressing their feelings, talking their problems, not shutting down, having the courage to go and stand up for themselves in different spaces, whether it's at school, whether it's at home, or whether it's in their neighborhood amongst their peers. Additionally, 90% of our seniors get accepted and go to college. And that's important because one of the things that we teach is professional resilience. We take them to a college campus. We let them spend the night with the college student and kind of make sure we plant that seed that this is a positive route to take to leading to success. Not the only route, but a positive route to take. So that's something that I consider to be successful. On the social side, that's another area of growth because we teach resilience on 3 levels: the personal, professional, and the social level. So on the social level, you see them being more open, being more interactive, feeling confident to start conversations with people, send text messages to check in on their mentor instead of the opposite. Just being able to manage their relationships better, relationships with their parents, relationships with their friends or their significant other. So I've seen that growth as well. And to me, those are measures of success because we are a socio-emotional program, trauma-informed program. So everything that we do, it's to build up that character and that emotional strength to endure and be able to move forward after.
All right, we have another question from Mr. Lester. Shout out to you, Mr. Lester. Thank you for joining us. If you don't have a degree, can you still mentor?
Yes, you would have to submit a couple of more things like extra reference letter and just submit a more extensive explanation of what your professional experience is. So we'll send it to you once you disclose that to Nina, our mentor recruitment chair. She'll send you those extra steps to make sure you're qualified to be a mentor. Great question.
All right, we have another one from Heavenly Joy. During the pandemic, a number of students have experienced trauma. Very true. Is RYM applying for grants that may become available through the American Rescue Plan?
We are currently applying to different various grants. We were not aware of the American Rescue Plan, so thank you so much for bringing that resource to us. We will definitely look into it and apply because you're absolutely right. COVID is a trauma that we actually all experience as a community, and we've all have our different levels of trauma from just that one experience. Thank you. Thank you so much. Heavenly Joy is always watching too, so shout out to you.
All right. Any questions, comments, wondering? Please fill them in right now in the chat. We are here to answer your questions.
Especially any parents. Janelle was a mentor as well. Why don't you kind of speak on your experience as a mentor, your experience with RYM so far, because you didn't come on board initially as a board member. You kind of had a little path. If you want to share.
Sure. I joined RYM in 2018. So I'm going into my 3rd year in RYM. I did initially join as a mentor. I joined because Simone used to teach at my school. We were colleagues. That's how we met. And she always would talk about, we used to talk at lunch a lot. She'd always talk about she wants to start a nonprofit. And we would talk about it a lot. And she spoke about focusing on one that helps young people with traumas, which I thought was really, really interesting and different because I'd never heard of mentoring with a specific lens of traumatic events. And so I got interested in that and I applied to be a mentor. I was a mentor to 3 young ladies. It was a very, very rewarding experience. Sometimes we take for granted that our input may not be all that we want it to be, or that we're really not making a difference. I know sometimes as a teacher, as an educator, we tend to feel that way sometimes, like is this going through? Are they getting it? Am I making an impact? And I definitely have to say that from mentoring these 3 young ladies, I can honestly say that an impact was definitely made. I was able to open them up to a lot of new experiences. We did things like sip and paints, and we ate sushi, and we just had a lot of really good, deep conversations. And they begin to trust you, and they begin to reveal a lot of their traumatic events. And that's kind of like your gateway to get in there and do the work that we do at RYM. And so it was very rewarding to be a mentor, and I felt a calling to give more of myself to the organization. And that's when I approached Simone about being a board member, because I felt like I had a lot to give on a higher level. And so I became a board member as well. And there was a point when I was doing both roles. I was a board member, I was a mentor, and it's just all around rewarding, dealing with young people in a different light than how I deal with them every day in the classroom. So I would encourage anyone, don't feel as if, I don't know if I have much to give. You have a lot to give. Young people are much more confident and trusting and open to speak to a mentor than they would their parents, and sometimes even their friends. And that's something that we've learned through mentoring. And so I would encourage you to become a mentor. Very, very rewarding experience. I recently got 2 letters from 2 of my mentees, just encouragement letters to kind of cheer me up. And just reading what they had to say about our relationship really, really touched my heart. I didn't know that I made the impact that I did on that kind of a level. And so the rewards come back to you really, really in a huge measure. So please, if you're thinking about it, if we're teasing you, if you're like, this sounds kind of good, maybe, please, please, please follow through with that gut feeling. You will not be disappointed.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that, Janelle. And so just to let you know, our call to action today is that we need mentors. We can only serve the amount of young people of that we have mentors. So if we get 10 mentors, then we can serve 10 young people. If we get 2 mentors, then we can only serve 2 people. That's because we have a very clear, structured model, 1-to-1, and it's intentional, and it's 1-to-1 based off gender. So there's another call for men. We need more men. Resilient Young Minds is a co-ed program, and we can't reach our young men, our young boys, our teen boys growing up in this difficult time of conflict because we don't have men willing to mentor them on that level. So please, 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 if you have a year where you can give up 1 Saturday and 10 hours a month for 1 year, then you can be a mentor. We sign off on all community service. If you get community service from your job credit and mentoring with us or volunteering with us, will help. And that's pretty much it. If we don't have any more questions, I'm glad that I was really, really thorough. The questions we did get, they were really good questions. So thank you for Mr. Lester and Heavenly Joy for sharing those questions. And Celia, so right now we can start doing the raffle, I'm feeling like, because I want to give away some swag, and then we will take a break before we do our next segment, which is having a panel of alumni. We have a parent, we have a mentor, and a mentee. So we have 3 different perspectives and experiences to share with you about RYM. All right. So those of you who engaged in the chat, your name has been entered into the raffle. The beautiful RYM swag, I'm So Resilient t-shirt that Janelle was modeling earlier is going to be the prize. So I'm going to have Carrie, our vice president, come on in so that we could find out who's going to get that swag. Let's get a drum roll, please. Carrion, are you there to tell us who's winning a Rhymes shirt today? Our raffle winner today is Mr. Lester Kenyon. Okay, Mr. Lester, you've won a Rhyme I'm So Resilient t-shirt. So please message us your address and your shirt size and you Lester Kenyon. Okay, Mr. Lester, you won a Rhyme I'm So Resilient t-shirt. So please message. All right, so I'm gonna answer this one question before we go on a commercial break and give Nina some time to pull up what the commercials will be, because we have quite a while. Will the number of mentoring hours depend on the mentee? No. Everyone's hours is the same. Every mentor must spend a minimum of 10 hours a month with their mentee, totaling to 80 hours of mentoring for the year. Mm-hmm. And if they fall behind, if they fall below those hours, there are other measures that we take, warnings and things of that nature, to removal if possible, if it comes to that. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. The gala is in June. Where is it taking place? So the gala is going to take place at a venue in Canarsie. It's going to be blended. More details are coming out. There's going to be a flyer being put out. We just wanted to make sure everyone saved the date. But there'll be an in-person and there'll be a Zoom option available. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. All right. So we are going to take a break. Nina's going to pull up some rhyme videos for you guys to watch promptly at 2 o'clock. We are going to begin our second part of the segment where we have our alumni come on and speak. So please stay tuned. If you know someone that could benefit from this information, please have them call. Please have them tune in. Please have them tune in, not call, but tune in. Please have them tune in. Please have them tune in, because you're going to hear from a parent. You're going to hear from a mentor and a mentee that came through RYM. So you'll have all three of those perspectives. So please share, and we'll start promptly at 2 o'clock.
Don't forget it. Love is their own happiness.
Malcolm X.
What? He's not an author. He wrote a book. Alice Haley wrote the book.
No. That is true.
Are y'all crazy? All right, so he Stop dropping it like that. Shit. Wait, no, sorry.
Mentor was amazing. But it was all fun, and then also very very serious at times when it was time to be serious, and it's also about the exposure. Like it's so much. It's like it's hard to put it all in just a few words. Like an unbelievable experience that you just gotta experience to understand.
Like on yesterday, I found out something with my sister, and it made me want to be here for her.
Oh, yeah. So I agree with this. I think trauma is a life-changing experience, and it's something that's probably going to affect you for the rest of your life.
I think my favorite part of the retreat so far was the questions where we ripped up our answers. And it was really cool because I felt that that was the part where we all started really opening up and you could feel it because the questions were digging a little deeper and you could just like feel the mood shift, but also feel it shift into a place of trust where we could all get into our feelings more.
I really enjoyed our experience here at the RYM retreat because on our way here, I wasn't in a really good mood. I was thinking about my little sister, and as soon as we got here and we saw the trees and the sun and all the positive energy from everybody that was here, everybody just being so supportive and uplifting, it really just brought me out of the sad state I was in, and now I'm really in a good mood. To gather on this day, we ask that you bless the food and bless the hands that made it. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And what I'm taking home with me is this whole new group of folks that I'll be in communications with and watching each other grow. Mentees and mentors alike.
marketing manager here, and I'm here for myself. Just last year, I was diagnosed with depression. I have battled a lot of suicide thoughts, not quite attempts, but I'm here and I'm strong. So,
Amen.
And I'm here for my classmates and friends.
My name is Ryan, and I'm here for myself.
Brianna, and I'm here for people who feel unappreciated.
My name is Mark, and I'm here for support.
My name is Ashley. I'm here for my student Trina. 2 years ago, I lost an uncle to suicide, and I have another uncle who lives with schizophrenia. I also have multiple friends and family members with depression, and I'm also here for myself. End it now! Don't start the stigma! End it now! Don't start the stigma! End it now! Silence to the shame! End it now! Silence to the shame! End it now! End it now!
Linda, and I'm here as a supporter and as a survivor. And I have all these flowers are represented from family members. So I want to just thank you, RYM, because this has been a blessing for me to be a participant with you. Okay.
I think my favorite part of the retreat so far was the questions where we ripped up our answers. And it was really cool because I felt that that was the part where we all started really opening up and you could feel it because the questions were digging a little deeper and you could just like feel the mood shift, but also feel it shift into a place of trust where we could all get into our feelings more.
Trauma is a life-changing experience, and it's something that's probably going to affect you for the rest of your life.
So I agree with it as well.
We're going through, and like it made me, like on yesterday, I found out something with my sister, and it made me want to be here for her. Promise to be together on this day. We ask that you bless the food and bless the hands that made it. In your name we pray. Amen. Give me the sleeping bag. Give me the sleeping bag.
You gotta go. No, thank you.
No, you don't even get the sleeping. I really enjoyed our experience here at the RYM retreat because on our way here, I wasn't in a really good mood. I was thinking about my little sister, and as soon as we got here and we saw the trees and the sun and all the positive energy from everybody that was here, everybody just being so supportive and uplifting, it really just brought me out of the sad state I was in, and now I'm really in a good mood.
Trying to get away from your bottom. So that's acknowledging your feelings. So where's your next step? Work that you get or to assist because there are other options to live
Or whatever. But if I applied for them, I would still be here with my father, and I wouldn't leave because it's just misunderstanding.
Slash friend did a good job supporting him in applying the advice because he's learning. So he might not be able to do that on his own yet because he's still just a high school student. But do you think that his mentors or counselors supported him well? No.
Because I applied, and if I apply, I'm pretty sure like with my A2 average, I passed all my regions, got all my good credits, thinking I'm a valuable candidate. And to get rejected, like
But they're not helping. No, they're not helping. They're not teasing and bullying. I understood this during class. Other girls in school. Argument that like I'm attentive, like I understand.
Graduated in 2005 with my bachelor's in sociology and a minor in urban education and psychology. And then I went on and got my master's in social work. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Anyone from Brooklyn? And how to remain resilient through tough times.
So, hi everyone. Well, you guys are right here. I'm a new I'm a junior at the university, and I'm from the Bronx. Tip I really give you guys is.
So my name is Nicholas. I'm from Harlem. I bounce around a lot though, and my major is human development with a minor sociology or.
I'm actually considering this university, even though it's kind of far from now. I'm definitely going to like put it on my list.
My most memorable moment in RYM is when we went to the retreat, and I had some sort of like a spiritual awakening.
And my favorite RYM moment was definitely the Yes Retreat because I was able to get to know everybody better and create bonds and friendships that I know I'm going to be able to carry with me into the future.
One of my favorite moments in RYM was definitely the RYM retreat because I felt like we spent a lot of time together, bonding and doing activities, and it reminded me of college. And in college, I also made a lot of great friends who are my friends in supportive system today. So the fact that, we were able to do that with the kids kind of set them up for the future.
Hi, my name is Shakaya. My favorite moment at RYM would be when we went to the Chris Brown concert and got ice cream afterwards, and we were dancing in the drive-thru.
Whoa, I really don't care. That's my prerogative.
They say I'm.
The most memorable moment that I've had during RYM was the women empowerment circle that we had during the retreat, where we took turns looking at ourselves and others and pointing out positive aspects that we wouldn't really notice for ourselves.
One memory that I will always cherish was when we went to the Bad Bunny concert. He is such a great performer, but most of us did not know any of the words he was singing. So we were looking up, translating his words and trying to sing along as much as we could and dance a little bit, but I wasn't going to embarrass myself. So it was a good time though. It was a really good time. And I thank RYM for all the opportunities and Simone for all the opportunities that we got to see all those cool things. And thank you for a great year.
All right, so we out here, we out here, you know, experiencing new things, opening our minds and broadening our horizons.
Yes.
2, 3. All right, tell us the show for the camera.
$10, bro. 2 octopus, $10. 13.
Wow. You made it do it. $13.
Oh my God.
You zoomed in, you got it.
This
This is what we do. We break boundaries. Riot, riot, hey! Let me see.
One thing I've learned in RYM this year that I will take and apply to my life is being okay with being uncomfortable. It lets me know that I'm in the right place at the right time.
One thing that I really took away from RYM this year was to push myself to sit in discomfort, because I'm usually someone who likes to fill that awkward silence as an awkward person myself. And a lot of the activities, especially the ones that we did during the retreat, forced us to really just sit in that discomfort and still feel that something was happening there. So it really pushed me to continue to be aware of that and do it more.
Being in RYM taught me that the goal isn't always to get through our problems. Sometimes it is okay to sit in the emotions and feel.
My name is Alina Johnson, and I am the parent of the mentee Alonzo Smith. Alonzo has been a mentee of Resilient Young Minds, aka RYM, since August of 2019. When Alonzo first joined RYM, it was as a suggestion from my friend Carrie Ann Lewis, and I didn't know really what it was about. But however, when I went to the first meeting sold me. They say your first impression is your best impression. And the first meeting sold me. And he was very interested in it. From then on, he just shot off. He's not so much as shy, but he really didn't know how to express his feelings properly, considering he had went through the loss of losing my mother at a young age. So, and I didn't know how to help him with it, and still have him do proper in school. So RYM has definitely been an asset to him in his schooling, in his personal life, in his home life. They are very active all the way around. They're willing to help him at any time, and I appreciate it. I appreciate Miss Simone. I appreciate Mark, who was his mentor, who lived all the way in New Jersey, but he would come all the way out here just to talk to Alonzo. He kept in constant communication with Alonzo. Carrie and Lewis as well. Anytime he needed them, they were there. Text message, FaceTime, whatever it was. He enjoyed the outings, the workshops. It just has been an asset to him all the way around. He knows how to express himself. He has developed better communication skills in school, in home, when
While
it
at
comes to
RYM,
work.
I learned how you need to talk about your feelings in order for you to let go. And I implement that by having friends that I can call and talk to about anything.
For me this year, I believe that vulnerability was the theme of our RYM year. And so the moment that impacted me the most was when we were at the retreat and we did an activity of releasing our traumas and sharing them with each other and speaking them and giving voice to our traumas. And then in the end, burning our traumas. That was the most impactful moment for me this year because it taught me that vulnerability among strangers can be powerful. Not strangers in a sense that we didn't know each other, but strangers in a sense that that was probably the first time that many of us shared something so personal with someone that we didn't really know that well and that we were only getting to know at the retreat. And so it taught me a lot about vulnerability and how powerful it can be in releasing and in bonding and in helping each other understand some of the situations that we've all been through. And so I think in the end, vulnerability brought us that much closer as a group this year. And so that was my most impactful moment for our RYM year, 2019-2020.
Hello, my name is Alonzo Smith, and what I was able to take from RYM this year is the ability to be able to express my emotions more and be able to open up more, because that's something that I've had difficulties with doing in the past.
I would say this year is not so much what I learned from RYM, but just another reinforcement of why I mentor. I feel like all of the mentors at RYM had a lot to give to the mentees. Even though we are, still young in our ages, we were able to provide a lot of information to kids that in their teenage years in order to progress.
So I highly recommend Resilient Young Minds. I wish they had an adult form for it, but I highly recommend it. Thank you, Ms. Simone. May God continue to bless your endeavor and enlarge your territory. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
I heard about Resilient Young Minds through my cousin, who was a mentee in the program, named Shakaya Lewis. She texted me about it one day, and she thought I would be a great fit for it. And originally, I wasn't so sure, because when she started explaining the program, I told her I wasn't, at that moment in life, I wasn't that much open to expressing myself the way I am now, so I'm not sure if I'll be such a good fit, but I ended up blossoming from it.
I first learned of Resilient Young Minds through a great friend of mine, Simone Muschet. We've been friends since high school. I really wanted to get back to the community and expand on my mentoring, especially to show cybersecurity or IT in general to kids, and I thought that this would be the best option to do so.
Favorite moment from RYM, and it's really the moment that really etched it into my mind that yes, this was a good move for me, was our retreat. We took it in September of 2019, and it came right at a time where I kind of needed to be away from my normal life. And it forced me to talk to everybody. And talking to everybody, I got to hear everybody's stories and really get to know them more than, say, if we did have phone privileges.
My experience with Alonzo, as far as a mentee, was one of the best that I've ever had. There were times where, we would be on the phone for a good hour, just catching up on life and things that affected him or things that affected me. Another thing that I really enjoyed that Lonzo did was I provided like podcasts for him to listen to and share it to his friends. Most high school students or even adults wouldn't do that. They'll say they'll get to it and talk about it later. But the fact that you did that and shared it really meant a lot.
I think Mark was an incredible mentor. He was patient with me. He took time with me. Even at times where I was a little lackadaisical and maybe a little lazy here and there, he still never gave up. And he became less of a mentor and sort of more as a friend that I knew I could talk to about anything if anything was to happen.
I think RYM definitely impacted Alonzo's life. I believe he also needed another support system and another thing to do. I think with this program, it actually pushed him to, be more professional, even at his age. And I also think it pushed him to be more outgoing, even though he was already outgoing. But knowing that some of these programs and some of these accomplishments that he was trying to do, I believe just having RYM as a support system to push him really got him over the top. And even his parents also said it too. His mom said that she saw a lot of changes in Lonzo.
I believe that if you're looking for an opportunity to embrace a side of yourself that you never thought you'd be able to experience, Resilient Young Minds is definitely the place for you. If you want to become somebody who's more vulnerable and can express themselves completely without having to hold anything back and be able to really delve deep into what makes you you and figure out what you are trying to be and how to get there, then definitely join Resilient Young Minds.
People should join Resilient Young Minds because it starts with a village. Simone definitely likes to reiterate to everyone, and I certainly agree with her. And knowing that having this program to accomplish, whether it be 1 or 5 students, that's 1 or 5 students that we can move forward to, moving on and getting over their fears of whatever they experienced. And it's okay to seek help and, get that extra support system to move on and ultimately push to do whatever you want to do.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Resilient Young Minds Speak Up, Speak. If you are just joining us, my name is Simone Mouchette. I'm the founder and president of Resilient Young Minds, and I will be your facilitator for this part of our event. Okay. Today, we will be hearing from a parent, a mentor, and a mentee of Resilient Young Minds who participated in our program in 2019-2020. And they'll be able to share the story and give a personal perspective on their experience with Resilient Young Minds. So some rules for today is please talk to us. Talk to us in the chat. Let's do a chat check. I need you to write where you are from. Where are you from? Please write it in the chat for us. We want to make sure that you're engaging with us, speaking with us, commenting, asking questions. Hey, Professor Hayward, I see that you just commented. That's what we need, because as you comment and engage with us, you will be entered in a raffle to win RYM swag. So we want to make sure that everyone watching is entered, and we won't know who you are unless you're engaging with us. So please do that. While we are moving forward, just make sure that you share it. Please take a moment to share this video with a parent and an adult that has a heart to care for other kids or mentor other kids. Share it with someone that would like to volunteer. Share it with someone that would like to give us money, because we could use some money too. Just share it, like it. We want to make sure as many people get this information. We are currently collecting applications for mentors and mentees. The mentor application is due April 1st. and the mentee application is going to be due May 1st. So you want to make sure if you know anyone that's interested or could be interested, please have them log on, share this link with them. So without further ado, I'm going to call upon our three panelists, Miss Carol, Mark, and Alonzo, our RYM alumni. All right. Hello, everyone. First and foremost, I just want to make sure that you guys are muted when you're not talking so we can all hear each other clearly. And the first question is for you. Can you just introduce yourself? Tell us what you do. Why did you decide to speak today, and how you are affiliated with RYM? Miss Carol, you can go first because I see you on the screen first.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, my name is Miss Carol Henry, and I'm a parent of one of the mentees. Her name is Brianna Henry. Um, I should I say where you said to say where we work when?
Yeah, you
Sorry.
can say where you work, what you do, and why did you decide to speak today?
Okay, I work with the Presbyterian Hospital, and as a transporter. And I decided to speak today because I want everyone to know how excellent this program is for teenagers and for parents, because it really helps us how to open up more. As for me, it taught me how to kind of express myself more, because I'm very shy when it comes. I think I'm shy talking, but others say I'm not, but I feel I'm that. So maybe it's my what would I say? I kind of doubt myself. I kind of doubt myself. So in doing this today, it's really strengthening me, and I just wanted people to know as well how excellent this program is for teenagers, and what it did for my daughter.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. We're so happy to have you. You're being resilient right now by
Yes,
joining us.
yes.
So let's give Miss Carol some love in the chat. Let's give her some love in the chat. All right. So Alonzo, how are you affiliated? Introduce yourself, and tell us why you decided to speak.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alonzo Smith. I was a mentee of the Resilient Young Minds program from 2019 to 2020. I am currently a full-time college student at Morehouse College. I am a freshman. I'm 18 years old, and I decided to speak here today because I wanted to show everyone the experience of RYM and why I believe that everyone should have an opportunity to join a program like this.
Awesome. Thank you, Alonzo. And Mark, what made you join us today? Introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, and why did you decide to come on?
Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Stevens. I'm a cybersecurity engineer for the National Basketball Association. Recently just started, so I'm excited with that. I decided to talk because I wanted to tell everyone the benefits of joining RYM and the impact that you can make on the community.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. So my first question is, describe your experience as a RYM participant from your perspective. So we have different perspectives. We have Miss Carol, who's a parent, Alonzo, who is a mentee, Mark, who is a mentor. So from your perspective, can you kind of give like a brief walkthrough of what your RYM experience was? We can start with Mark.
My experience was great. Obviously, you're seen as the adult in the organization to teach a lot about the mentees, and not only my specific direct mentee, Alonzo, but also talking to different students within the organization. I enjoyed it a lot. We did a lot of family bonding events. And also, COVID didn't stop us from actually staying together and keeping in touch. Although me and Alonzo couldn't meet in person, we obviously used a lot of, other means to keep in contact, like whether it be FaceTime or video chat or even phone conversation. So my experience was really great.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Alonzo, can you share your story?
Yes, so my experience was very interesting. It was rocky for me in the jump because at that time in life, I wasn't necessarily open to expressing myself the way that I've learned to do so now. So when we would do certain activities, I would be kind of sort of branched off in my own world. But the great thing about the program is that since my program, the year that I did it, it was a very minute number of us. We all kind of knew each other and knew each other's signals as to when we were uncomfortable doing something. So I remember one activity I wasn't very open to doing it, and one of the mentees, Brianna, actually, she kind of, pulled me to the side. She was my partner, and then she kind of got to know me a little better and made me, more comfortable and open to doing the activity. And from that point forward, like we did so many things that not only benefited me, but I feel was a benefit to the entire community as a whole. Just spreading that awareness of, mental health and suicide awareness that, really doesn't get talked about as much as it should. So my experience was incredible.
Awesome. That means a lot to me. I'm gonna try not to cry, y'all, because you guys are touching me. Because some of these things, I don't even know what they're gonna say. So I'm just being filled right now. Miss Carol, what was your experience from a parent's perspective, from finding out about RYM to all the way to the end?
Yes, my experience with RYM, I'm so happy and proud to be a part of. I've learned so much. Brianna, for one, was very shy, couldn't get anything out of her. And when I met you guys at Humanitarian 3, that was the best thing that happened because she's now more vulnerable and she's more sociable. And Alonzo have a lot to do with that. She always speak highly of him. And Miss Janelle, her mentor, wonderful. And I would recommend, if I can recommend 1,000 and more to join, I will.
Awesome. All right. So, how has RYM impacted you specifically? So, if you can share a moment where you were facing a conflict, maybe an issue, dilemma, however you want to look at it, and you were able to reach out to RYM, whether it was a mentor, whether it was an administrator, whether just to get support. Can you kind of share a story like that to kind of give everyone watching kind of more specific ideas of what RYM does for you or for their clients?
Okay.
Go ahead, Miss Carol. You can go first. I'm sorry.
Okay. I remember Brianna was having some issues in school, and the first person I called was Miss Janelle, her mentor, and she was right hands on. She was hands on because as a parent, I don't, even though you have that, you give your children attention, there are some things they're not comfortable talking to you about as a parent. So by having her mentor there, who she was able to open up to and get that kind of feed, I'm so appalled by that because her mentor was there, is still there. We could have always called her and she was there to give her good advice and to meet with her. So RYM is excellent. That was my experience.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Mark, what was an experience you had where RYM impacted you specifically?
I would say there were a bunch of experiences, but one that kind of stood out was definitely the retreat that we did. Again, I feel like it actually took a lot of the students outside of Brooklyn, obviously myself too, but to kind of get that going away field, especially since, I went away for college and doing the whole bunch of activities. Obviously, both me and you were in residential life. So that was like the key part of, being a resident assistant is doing a lot of programs. And it definitely had like a bonding experience before we even, started the program. So a lot of us felt more comfortable talking to each other and doing further activities as well.
So I'm glad that you mentioned the retreat as one of your impactful moments, because the mentors coming on the retreat that time was the first time we did. That wasn't the original plan. And a lot of the mentors took to the retreat or was impacted just as much as the kids. And so that inspired us to do an adult retreat. So we're actually doing an adult retreat in May because of the success that we had at that one with both mentors and mentees. So thank you for bringing that up. And we mentioned that as one of the things that one of RYM's successes is that everyone seems to enjoy the retreat as their most impactful moment. But let's hear what Alonzo's moment is from the mentee perspective.
Oh God, I was gonna choose the retreat. Now I gotta switch. I would say
You don't have to
behind.
switch. You can say whatever it
Okay,
is that's for you and your reasoning.
okay. So, well, I'm gonna go with the retreat. Um, Very much so because, like Mark said, sometimes you just need that break from your natural environment and learn how to adapt to an environment that you're not used to being in. And that was for me as well, due to the fact that we found out that, we couldn't really have our phones like that. And me, I'm a kid, so I kind of thrive off my phone. So for me to not, have to be secluded away from it, it kind of forces you in a good way to interact with everyone around you. And it was to the benefit of the entire retreat because I believe had we had access to the things we usually have access to, I don't think that the retreat would have went as well as it did for me personally.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your most impactful moment. Um, with that being said, I was gonna ask, would you recommend RYM? But you guys all have said that you would recommend RYM already and explained why. So my question is if there are people watching that are interested in joining RYM, whether it's a mentor, a mentee, or maybe there's a parent that is on here and thinking about their child, what advice would you give them on what to expect? So I'll start with Alonzo. You could start.
Okay, so one, you should expect to be pushed out of your comfort zone in a good way. Let me elaborate. So, as I said before, I formerly was not that open to expressing my feelings. And the purpose of the entire program is for you to be able to, say what you need to say so you don't bottle it up. Because then that bottled up emotion can turn into a lot of negative things like mental health problems and things of that nature. So you should be prepared to be pushed into a space that you might not be comfortable at then, but you're going to adjust yourself to now.
Thank you. That's a good one. We definitely push people out of their comfort zones. Miss Carol.
Yes, I would. I would say, um, it teaches you not to be afraid to speak. Whatever you say, the only thing that is non isn't is nonsense then, or is what you're not what I've not what is not said. What is not said. But RYM allows you to ask questions, to open up. There's always someone with an answer. If you feel you're negative, there's always someone there to allow you to be yourself and to teach you or direct you in a positive way.
Ms. Carol, what have you gained as a parent, would you say, from why? What advice would you give parents that are not sure if they should make the decision to sign their child up?
I was afraid I was always afraid to say how I feel. And the suicide awareness walk that we did, that was a big one for me. That was a big one for me because I lost a friend from suicide, and that day it really showed me that it's so important to love each other and to just speak. Don't have anything battled up inside, because someone is always there with a listening ear, and you guys are always there to listen. And that day I really, really saw it in the park.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Mark, what advice would you give for someone that's trying to be a mentor? They're on the fence and they're not sure. I think we have a lot of on the fence people interested but haven't submitted applications. What advice could you give them, and what can they expect?
For the mentors, I think I understand why some people may be on the fence, because a lot of people, I think the main thing that I've spoken to a lot of people, why don't you mentor? Some of them are afraid to give advice, and then also feel like they should be 100% stable with their life, which is understandable, right? You want to kind of go in, but sometimes you just got to go in whether you're at 50% or 80%, because your 80% could be 100% for someone else, right? I would say that I, have certain things together, but again, I'm still figuring things out. But that doesn't mean that I didn't, provide Lonzo and a bunch of other mentees advice. And it's also about, um, whatever you may be struggling with too. Some people in the mentor group can help you as well. I know I can lean on the other mentors for advice on certain things that I deal with, and give them advice, and they also give me advice as well too. And it's just such a rewarding experience, even if you do it for a year or two, and then you could go back and And I think it's also about time management, right? That's one thing that everyone should focus on. They may say like, "Oh, it's not enough time," but hey, there's 10 hours that I dedicated to Alonzo in the group, and then there's also hours that I dedicated for myself too. So.
Thank you. That was really good. Mark. You made some really good points. So now I'm going to open it up to the chat for people to ask questions. I wasn't able to see where people were from. I know one person said they were from Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn. That's where we're based at. So of course, Brooklyn, we spread love. But if anyone, I saw someone in here from Virginia, so shout out to Virginia. My dad lives in Virginia, so I'm friendly with Virginians. But if you have questions, please put them in the chat, and the questions could be directed to Ms. Carol, Mark, Alonzo. Just if you have any general RYM questions, now is the time to get them asked, as the application deadline is approaching. If you would like to purchase RYM swag, I forgot to mention that there's RYM swag available. We're selling RYM swag via custom ink. So Karen will drop the link in the chat for you, or it's also available via our link tree. It should be pinned in the chat. So if you want to get some RYM swag, I'm rocking some RYM swag right now. And so is Alonzo and Miss Carol. We just proud RYM people. So if you want to be a proud RYM rep, please purchase the swag and support us and support our mission. So the first question, okay, we have some people from Maryland, but originally from Brooklyn. So there were a lot of questions. So let's go back to the very first question, Nina, because you're flashing them really quickly. But we can answer this one. Miss Carol, how was Brianna's mentor hands-on? Just so parents get a feel of how RYM services young people. So that was for you, Miss Carol. How was Brianna's mentor hands-on? What was some of the things that she did?
Brianna's mentor, they went out together. They had um lunch dates, movie dates, they went to the salon. They did a lot of things together, and I know it helped because Brianna had everything she was open, she was more vulnerable, where she could talk and not thinking, oh, mommy's there, because sometimes we as parents are there and they're afraid to ask questions or to open up certain subject or topics. And with her mentor, she was able to do so. So I'm a proud parent to say her mentor is super, 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 super. She was hands-on and everything, conversations, everything. I would advise parents for that. A lot of parents to do that.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Carol. Do we have any other questions? I saw some other questions flash up before. If we can get those up so that we can address them. Okay. What kinds of activities allowed you all to get in touch with your vulnerabilities? So I'll let Alonzo or Mark answer that question. What kinds of activities did we do?
I'll grab this one. Well, one activity that, kind of really like enclosed us as not a group, but more of a family was we were on the retreat and we had a nice backyard and we sat in a circle and we all wrote down like the most traumatic thing that happened to us. We balled it up, we threw it in the middle, and one by one, people would go up and they would grab one of the traumas, they would read it. If the person wanted to claim it, they could. If they didn't, it could remain anonymous. If you claimed it and you want to speak about it, you could. And at first, like I said, I didn't like expressing myself. So I kind of wrote down something that, it kind of was traumatic, but it wasn't the most traumatic thing that happened. And seeing everybody else, be so open and expressive about like, some really deep, dark things that happened to them. When mine got called out, I, switched it. I say, you know what, I did write that, but what really I want to talk about is this. And to see everybody so open to the advice and to like just hear how strong, because you will look at the people and you could not tell that they have been through what they've been through. Like you may not see the scars, but they're there. But it's not the scars you have, it's how you're able to heal it up and get over it. Not get over it, that's the wrong word. How you're able to heal it up and be able to move past and grow from it. So that's one of my favorite activity that we ever did.
That was the most vulnerable activity that we do. So you went right straight for the jugular. Mark, did you want to add? Was there any other activities that we did that showcased vulnerability or help push vulnerability?
Yeah, so clearly rhyme works because, Lonzo stole my answer. We keep stealing each other's answer. No, but I think one of my favorite one was we had two separate discussions. The women mentors went with the ladies, and then the men mentors went with the young gentlemen. We had a conversation that affects us as, being in a gender phrase. So I, as well as another mentor, offered my advice as being a male. Um, whether it be going through school, college, and my current job as well. So that we had about, I think, 3-hour conversation just discussing different issues, and that was one of my favorite things that we did.
Awesome. So I hope that we answered your questions, but those were some examples of how we touch on that. Now, Laverne Lee, I live in Virginia and I have teenage daughters that may benefit from RYM. Is it offered in other states? So unfortunately, RYM is only in Brooklyn. However, because of the pandemic and a lot of virtual programming, we are open to virtual mentoring. So Ms. Lee, we'll keep in contact with you if you inbox us your email. because there are mentors that have requested virtual mentoring, and I'd be happy to provide that opportunity and that access for your daughters via Zoom. Mhm. All right. How are mentors and mentees paired together? So that's a question directly for me because I am the one responsible for pairing mentors and mentees. So the benefit of pairing is that I know everyone in the organization because I am involved in both mentor and mentee recruitment to some capacity. Um, so that helps me get an advantage. When we go to the retreat, all mentors and mentees are required to attend unmatched and unpaired. During that weekend of events, we're doing different various bonding activities, icebreakers, along with the workshops, the therapeutic workshops that Mark and Alonzo mentioned. Right after our heaviest workshop, which is I Am Not My Trauma, I then go and decide who goes with who based off of the dynamics that I had observed over the week. I also do assessments. I do eco maps and genograms. So trying to collect history, family history, and social history from all the mentees. And I match that up with what I know about the mentors there, in addition to what I've observed. And I also ask the young people who they want. I have a meeting with them as well during the retreat. And I'm saying, who do you feel like you're vibing with? And a lot of times it's aligned. Sometimes I've been surprised, but I take into consideration who they want and why they want that person. Like, do you want that person because you think that person's going to be your best friend and you guys are going to do bestie things? And they're not going to challenge you and what you need. I also look at the strengths that the mentors have and the weaknesses that the mentees have, and how that specific mentor can help build that child up. So those are all the things that I take into consideration. I take the pairing very, very, very seriously because I know firsthand what it's like to have a mentor that you don't really get along with, you don't connect with, and I know what it feels like to have a great mentor. So that piece I hold sacred right now. Maybe when RYM gets bigger and bigger, maybe I'll have to pass that baton to somebody else. But right now, that's one thing that I take very, very seriously. And I use my social work mindset to drive how I go about pairing them together. No problem, Miss Lee. All right. Casey says, when the mentees age out of the program, are they encouraged to become mentors? Absolutely. Alonzo is 18 years old and he's in college and he still comes back. When he graduates, he knows that he's going to mentor. We stress that with all the mentees. We try to keep engagement with alumni. We have an alumni mixer actually this afternoon after this event. So that is something that is encouraged, yes. What's the age range? Okay, right now we serve ages 13 to 17, but we are starting to expand to age 11 because being a social worker in an elementary school, I'm seeing that kids younger and younger are struggling with expressing their emotions, even suicidal ideations, negative self-talk, depression. So we are going to be open to accepting 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds, but our primary focus is 13 to 17. And usually the rationale behind that is because a 13-year-old is more likely to be able to transport him or herself independently, whereas at 11 and 12, they may still need parental guidance to maneuver around. But I do recognize the need, and if a parent is adamant enough that they feel that their child can benefit from RYM and they're 11 or 12, then I will accept their application. Any other questions? These are really, really great questions. Thank you all for engaging in this way and thoughtful, because it shows that you guys are really listening in and receiving the information. All right. For all the panelists, what's the one tool you took away from RYM that helps you in your daily life now? So who would like to speak first? One tool that you took away from RYM that helps you in your daily life right now. Go ahead, Alonzo.
Okay, it would definitely be my communication because before Rhyme, my communication skills were poor, piss poor, pitifully poor. But being in Rhyme, it forces you to be more independent instead of, having to lean on somebody else to do something that, is obligated for you to do. And it's some things that you may not know, but you may, be fearful to ask for help. So, Ryan really helped me build up my communication. And even in the beginning, when Mark became my mentor, my communication skills were very bad. But I kept working on it, and eventually it became better, and it's still growing on to this day. So that's one thing that I was able to take away from Rhyme that still helps me to this day.
Miss Carol.
Yes. What I've taken away is to be more patient. My communication skill is better because of you guys, and I greatly appreciate that. I can I encourage more people. I tell a lot of people about the programs only for them to make the right move. So it helps me now to communicate better.
Awesome. Thank you. And Mark, one thing that you took away from RYM that helps you in your daily life.
I would say that just dealing with other people that had traumatic experience. I've learned to push other people in my family members to go out and seek help. Because when you have conversations with them, that's something not necessarily wrong with them, but they're dealing with an issue, but they don't want to face it. So definitely learning how to push them to face their fears, whether it be therapy or talking to someone else about it.
Awesome. That's a good one. How should I deal with a resident child or a resistant child? How should I deal with a resistant child? So I'm going to ask Mark to answer because he was a mentor and he's dealt with some resistance. She gave more information, some background. My oldest son would benefit from RYM, but he doesn't like to leave the house. I know he would like the idea of getting out of his comfort zone. So Mark, I think you're great for that, to answer that question. And then if there's anything else, then I can piggyback.
So dealing with resistance, I guess just being patient and showing them the benefits of actually getting out their comfort zone, and then bringing I guess old mentors and mentees to them. I think part of it is showing it that they're the only ones that may feel that way. I know for me, there were times I was shy as well, but going to college and then doing these mentoring programs and whether it be RYM or back in college, that pushed me out my comfort zone too. So I was at that point where, I didn't necessarily, I was shy, like I didn't want to speak as much. I would do activities, but still, I would be shy. And there are times too where I'm still shy and I don't want to step out my comfort zone. And I think it's just an ongoing process. So I think just bringing people that are like them to your son to get them out of their comfort zone. And then I don't know if you want to say a forced approach. Maybe that might not be the best idea, but some people need the force. Some students do. So I would say that's the best one. As far as like a previous experience, I was resistant. I tried a lot with this one student from last year. And there were times where even though he was resistant, he did try to do certain things. But I think it also, just enforcing what RYM does, right? A lot of the mentors spend time to, push the students. So it's on the parents as well to reinforce what this mentors are doing, and not just have them go back and revert back to that behavior.
Right. And just to add, so resistance can mean many different things. When you say resistant, does it mean that he refuses to participate in the program, or he refuses to listen to you as a parent? Because if he respects you as a parent, I think Miss Carol could probably speak to this. And you want him in the program, and he makes sure that he attends, then he'll probably come. So I would invite them to come to orientation. I know Alonzo was a little on the fence, and at orientation, he kind of was sold. Like a lot of our mentees, their parents made them join. I would just say that blatantly. So Miss Carol's on. I remember Brianna's face when she was signing her up, and she was not with it at all. And by the time we finish the retreat, they end up loving it, and they're like really locked in and they're committed. So Miss Carol could speak on it. I saw Alonzo was about to say something.
I'll go for that one.
And Miss Carol, can you
Okay.
how can you introduce the idea to him? She asks as well.
Oh, well, when I first heard about it and brought Brianna, I also brought her friend. I recommended her mom, which is my friend, and I told her to get her daughter in, because she and Brianna, the both of them had the same mindset where they just wanted to be in house, not doing anything. And I said, you have to go out there and get to be responsible, and RYM helps them to be responsible. And I can tell you, if you get your son, just talk to him, and let him know that there are people out there like him, because you have mentees out there like him who really didn't want to leave the house, and the parent went ahead and signed them in and said, listen, this is what you're in, and this is what you have to do. Sometimes we have to go that route to get them out of their comfort zone, and once they get in, you will be surprised to know that that's the child who was always home, didn't want to come out. RYM does that to them.
Thank you, Miss Carol. Go ahead, Alonzo. I know you wanted to share something.
I think my biggest thing, because like you say, how you say some parents, kind of force. I wouldn't say my mom forced me, but she forced me, because I think my biggest thing was that um I felt like if I did the program, I didn't want to make it seem like, the common societal thing is, oh, there's something wrong with you. And I didn't want to feel like that, which is why I was, kind of resistant. But then, Mark's patience with me and his understanding, kind of benefited our relationship in the long run. And you just have to explain to them that it's people out there that's just like you. And if you are able to do it, it can encourage somebody else to do it as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Those are really, really good questions. We are going to have a Zoom private informational for people who have submitted applications. So just because you submit an application doesn't mean it's a guarantee. We still want to meet you. We still want to make sure that Resilient Young Minds is a good fit for your child or for you if you want to be a mentor, because we do have a very clear system and structure. We're trying to be evidence-based, and the only way to do that is if we repeat the exact same methods. So we are very clear and strict about what the expectations are. So sometimes some people want to, but they can't meet it, or things happen, or maybe a child is extra resistant and they're like, I'm not going to show up, and it's not going to work, because we are a volunteer-based program. So whatever you get out of it is what you put into it. And that's really just what it is. Once you come in, we do the best that we can to make our children and our mentors to feel comfortable, safe, confident. But in the midst of what all we can do, we can't force them to share. We can't force them to change. So, I'm not going to say we're guaranteed miracle workers, but we do the very, very best we can to create that safe space for young people to feel comfortable to express themselves and give them that opportunity. And we found that children that are struggling to talk about their trauma, they feel comfortable being in that space, and it does help them open up. So that's something I just wanted to know. We have some really great comments. Alonzo's getting a lot of love today. I know he said he was feeling overwhelmed. So shout out to Alonzo. He's like our RYM ambassador, mentee ambassador. Miss Carol, we recruiting you as our parent ambassador. Mark has been, he's been there since the beginning, from even before a different organization, and he's been sticking around. So these are true experts, people that were consistent, that followed the program to a T as we designed it, and they've had the most impact from the outcome. So thank you all for being here. You can take a look at the chat and all the comments. Ms. Taylor says, love what you guys are doing. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for being here. So let's just give them all this love in the chat. Let's see all the comments coming up. We have one more question. Do or would mentors pick up children that are unable to be transported by parents, potential busing in the future? So mentors do pick up their mentees most of the time. If not, we do arrange transportation if a parent cannot drop them off, but we prefer, if they're younger, for the parents to drop them off if they're not allowed to be on public transportation. But on the application, there is a release that parents can sign that can allow their child to be in the car with their mentor and things like that. But most of the time, I haven't had a mentor yet that had an issue picking up their mentee and taking them somewhere, taking them home. That's something that you wouldn't have to worry about. Okay. All right. So I'm going to call on Janelle. She's going to come in and she's going to announce our raffle winners and close us out. Thank you again, Ms. Carol, Mark, and Alonzo for being here and telling your Resilient Young Mind story. We truly appreciate you.
Okay. I'm back with everyone. Can I just say that this session was giving me all the feels. The work we do is heart work. That's what I call it. It's really work from the heart, and it's very fulfilling to hear the impact that we make on different levels. So the mentor level, the mentee level, the parent level. It's very, very fulfilling to hear this, and it gives us the motivation and the inspiration that we need to keep pushing to higher heights. So thank you all. Thank the panelists for participating today. Thank you to our live audience for your questions, your comments, your praise, your encouragement. We do not take these things lightly. And again, this is the inspiration that we need to keep going. So I know the theme that I was hearing a lot was about vulnerability from each of the panelists, and from pretty much everything that was said today, being in a space of being vulnerable, to be able to grow, to be able to communicate better, to be able to socialize better, to be able to become more resilient. It all starts with being vulnerable. And that's something that we really work towards, and we work to create that type of a space in all the activities that we do and in our program. So thank you to our faithful viewers and supporters who are always behind us, who always show up for us. Thank you to the new supporters that we have. Please stay with us. If you are interested in becoming a mentor, or you want to sign your child up to be a mentee, please reach out to us. I think we put the link tree in the chat. You can also email us at resilientyoungminds@gmail.com, and also at info.ryminc@gmail.com. If you know any of us personally, send us a text, a chat, find a way to get in touch with us. We will definitely follow up with you. And without further ado, because I could go on and on and on talking about RYM, we're going to announce the raffle winner. And the raffle winner is, drum roll, Miss J is our raffle winner for this segment. So Miss J, congratulations to you. You have won, I believe, some RYM swag. I am wearing our new RYM shirt, and I believe this is what you will receive. It says, "I'm so resilient," and it has our logo, Resilient Young Minds. This is our latest design for our RYM swag, and so you will be receiving some RYM swag. So thank you very much, everyone. This has been a pleasure. Please reach out to us. Again, as you heard from the panelists, there was some hesitancy on their part in the beginning, and we understand if that's a feeling you're having right now, but please reach out to us, have conversations with us, follow up with us, because we guarantee you an experience that will benefit and support either yourself as a mentor or a child, young person, teenager that you're thinking of signing up. So to that parent with that son, we want to hear from you. We want to talk to you. So please follow up with us. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and we look forward to seeing you again on our next live. Thank you.